It is the Jesse Kelly Show, and I almost forgot. Man, I can't believe this slipped my mind. Dome was out there today talking about innovation, and when she speaks about things like this, I sit down and I listen.
You know, I think about innovation as being the pursuit of that, right? The pursuit of what makes us more efficient, more accurate, faster, right? More relevant to the needs of the people. We don't engage in innovation because we're bored with things the way they've been. It's the pursuit of doing things better than we have done and seeing what is possible unburdened by what has been.
She loves that unburdened by what has been line. Fellas, does it just, she does pull that out a lot, right? That's one of her staples. It's weird because that's just like Joe Biden's staple. Joe Biden has a bunch of these really stupid staples that never land well, but he says them anyway. Remember, when he goes to these speeches, if there's someone high up, he says, "Don't jump." And no one ever laughs. And it's kind of inappropriate and odd, but he goes to it every time as if it's just this killer one. So I forgot, before I get to the good news, Chris reminded me of a funny story I told a long time ago. Horrific story, but a funny story. We were living back in D.C. after I lost 2 congressional runs. I wanted to stay in the fight. I can't help it. I just wanted to stay in the fight. So I took a political job back in D.C. And living in D.C. is hell. Don't ever do it. But I will say this. It's really, really cool to see the history parts of it. The museums and the various things like that. They are really cool. The Vietnam Museum or Vietnam Memorial is so powerful. Anyway, it's really cool. And the only fond memories we have of living back there were doing that kind of stuff. But my oldest son, I want to say he was 3 or 4 then. And this is an important part of the story. He could not pronounce L's, okay? Could not pronounce L's. That's important you understand what that means. So a blanket would just be a banket because he couldn't pronounce the L, okay? You with me? We show up at the Washington Memorial. And because it's Washington, D.C., of course, it happened to be Gay Pride Day at the Washington Memorial. It's just gay pride flags all over the place. And we were walking the kids around, and we realized what we'd done, and we decided, okay, we've seen the memorial. Obviously, this is probably not the best day for us here. Let's leave. Now, I just told you who's around us, right? You with me? Who's around you? And I told you about the flags that were around us. Well, on top of not pronouncing his L's, my son used to speak really, really loudly. And he looks around us as we're walking through a crowd of all these people heading back to our car, and he says, "Look at all these." And you can finish that sentence for yourself. I don't think I've ever, as many times as I've embarrassed the wife, I don't think I've ever seen her as mortified as she was in that exact moment. Not even this morning when we went to breakfast, because my oldest son's out of town, so we took our youngest son to breakfast, and she ordered something. The waitress happened to be Mexican, but that wasn't why I did it or said it. The wife ordered some avocado with her breakfast, and I was kind of talking to Luke, my youngest, when I heard her say avocado, and the waitress is kind of there, and I said, "Avocados from Mexico." I echoed that commercial, and she was really embarrassed.